Hello everyone, welcome back to episode 10 from the Short Story Starter. It's an exciting episode because of just that, episode 10. We've hit double digits. Seems like yesterday we started this, but well, obviously it wasn't. I hope you're all doing well into the swing of things in January. Hope New Year's resolutions are still going well. Mine predictably fell apart. Need to get back into the swing of things if possible. I'm trying to do some new things. My girlfriend and I are going to try and build a catio ourselves this weekend, which will be pretty exciting. One of my New Year's resolutions was to try one new thing a day. But when I went back to work, I kind of fell into the old habits. So I think that will be our new thing this weekend. Okay, time to remind you of last week's short story writing prompt. Last week, I set you the story writing prompt. The year is 2747 and then I cut it off. The idea was that you would go and tell me all about the year 2747. You might tell me about the people that were living at that age. Maybe they had evolved in some way. You might have told me a little bit about transportation, how people moved around, what the cities looked like, what the skies looked like, whether or not the planet was still around, if it still existed. I've got a couple of shorter submissions to share with you this week. I will explain why in just a minute. I'll read through those and then I'll set this week's story writing prompt. So, let's get to it. Oops, sorry. Didn't mean to hit you over. Okay, I'm trying to bring a little bit more energy to the videos. I was watching them back and I realized a lot of the time I'm just sort of sat there like, hello. And that's not me. So I'm trying to bring a bit more energy without it becoming absolute chaos. One of the things I do at my school as part of my profession is a booster group where we take children that need a little bit more support with their writing, especially in English, and we try and boost them up. This week, at the last 5 minutes or so, one of the kids said, "Oh, could we do something for your YouTube channel?" I was like, "Oh, well, yeah, of course you can." So we tried to quickly put together something for the year is 2747 and they wrote a couple of rush sentences. But it gives me food for thought. Maybe I'll do it for a longer period of time with them in the future. I don't want it to become like homework for some of the kids I work with. So, a couple of kids have shared some stuff with us this week. I've got Sero, I've got Mark, and I've got Yarnee. Here is what Mark had to say with the story writing prompt. The year is 2747 and I can see cars. I can hear cars. I can smell cars. The cars are different. I think we get a slight clue that Mark's a big fan of cars. The cars can go as high as, bear with me here, 1, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32 zeros kilometers high. The cars can go as fast as a snail. I did speak to Mark. I think he was trying to imagine that snails had completely evolved and transformed, and they were now the fastest animals on the planet Earth. You could fit 10 million people in one car. Inside the car, there was only one machine, and it was a food machine. The food machine makes cakes, pizzas, and caramel cookie ice cream. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a pretty incredible car. Thank you for sharing that with us, Mark. Yarnee wrote this. The year is 2747 and there are flying cars, robot sounds, and the smell of nothing is everywhere. The speed of cars is at least 800,000 miles an hour. The limousines are super fast and they can fly 8 million miles per hour. Inside every car, there's a happy person. There we go. A lot of focus on cars. Maybe I should do some story writing prompts around cars. And here we go. So this is what Sero had to write. The year is 2747 and there are flying cars. And everybody knows all about space and animals, and that there are amazing buildings and even more expensive cars. And you can learn more things and you can grow more plants. And maybe astronauts are going to find more planets. Or there will be robots that we can ride in. And there'll be other clever robots to do our jobs. And even more expensive planes too. I think Sero's really goes into detail about not just the cars, but the whole time of 2747. Thank you very much for those three. I promise you, completely unprompted. They did want to do it themselves, so I threw together a quick sheet. Good job. Thank you very much, Mark, Yarnee and Sero. Okay, time for this week's story writing prompt. Hello, me again. Little surprise submission. I was about to start editing this week's video, and honestly, as I started editing and putting the videos in, I received an email alert. It popped up at the bottom, and it was another story submission for this week. So I thought, right, let's jump back to it. Let's add this in. This week, Looknye got involved. So Looknye has been on the channel before, and she decided to send something in. Fantastic, brilliant, love it. Okay. Here is what Looknye had to write about. The year is 2747 and the year is 2747 and the world is unrecognizable. The human race has ruined the natural world as we used to know it. Seeing as there are only weeds that grow in the farms, animal life depends on finding energy from ores in the rocks. Many hours are spent digging the rocks before then grinding them into paper that we can eat. In this futuristic world, there are no more slow, sloppy cars on the road. Noisy, ordinary trains travelling to other countries, or ugly, bulky buses picking up children. Instead, people travel in flying vehicles, which can get you to your destination in a matter of minutes. Finally, every household has an unusual pet, which is a hybrid of two different species. For example, a favourite pet is a doshi, which is a mix of a fish and a dog. The year is 2747 and I really miss the nature of the past. What a fantastic submission. Thank you so much for sending that in, Looknye. Really love how vivid you described the future. It really helped me to create a picture of your 2747 in my mind. Brilliant. Thank you so much. Ooh. Oh, that'd be kind of cool if I can do this properly. Something I love doing as an aspiring writer is to take inspiration from other authors. This man is a fantastic author. I've signed up for one of his writing courses through the BBC and I'm loving listening to him, sharing his expertise. I just finished teaching Mr. Stink, one of his most famous books, and I find that in the classroom we only have a few minutes here and there to read through a class story. So I grabbed this from our school library and I shared one of the it's a collection of 10 short stories about the world's worst children. And I shared one of the stories in here, which is all about a boy called, where is he? There he is. Peter Picker, the boy who never stops picking his nose. It was a fantastic story. The kids absolutely loved it. I almost threw up. It is a little bit disgusting. And I've promised them we will read some more. So, what I was thinking for this week's short story writing prompt from the Short Story Starter is that you could add to these 10 disgusting children and create the 11th or 11th and 12th. Maybe they're a pair, maybe they're a trio, maybe it's a whole class full of terrible children. You could write it as a character description if you wanted to, just describe the character, the child you create. You could put them into a story if you would like to, just for some context, from the contents. There is Dribbling Drew, a boy who never stops dribbling. Nigel Knitboy, a boy who is infested with knits. There is Brian Wong, who is never ever wrong. There's Sophia Sofa, who never gets off the sofa. David Williams has used alliteration throughout this book with his characters. So there you go. The world's worst children. I mean, I can't officially name it the world's worst children because I will probably get sued if anyone sees this video. So I will come up with some catchy title that I can't quite think of off the top of my head. But your short story writing prompt for this week is to come up with the world's worst child. Or maybe that could be the good. That could be good, wouldn't it? The world's worst child. So you tell me the world's worst child, who they are, what they do, why they are, when they are, where they are, who they are, when they are, and why they are, and who they are. And why they are the world's worst child. Okay. Have an absolutely wonderful week. I look forward to reading through some of these disgusting children. I've taught many, many children in my time, but I would like you to come up with the world's worst child. Have fun writing, and I'll see you very soon. Ciao.